more. Senator Van Hollen of Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank both of you for your testimony here today. Ms. Lubin, it's great to have you here, both with your national hat on, as well as I want to thank you for your work as our Maryland Securities Commissioner. Great to have a fellow Marylander here. And I want to start by thanking you for your input and advice as I worked to introduce the Empowering States to Protect Seniors from Bad Actors Act. And I believe you may have mentioned that this morning in your testimony. I think we're all well aware of the fact that a lot of these fraudsters prey on seniors. In fact, we know that according to the Senate Special Committee on Aging, seniors lose approximately $3 billion each year to financial scams. So I know you worked with us to put this bill together. It's bipartisan. I want to mention to the chairman and the ranking member that we have the support and sponsorship of Senators Scott, Warnock, and Loomis. I hope we'll be moving forward on this. Could you, Ms. Lubin, just talk to why it would be important to pass this bill?
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for your comments and for sponsoring the bill. The bill is really important to us. There are never enough resources to go around with what we do. Industry, scam artists always have way more resources than regulators have. So this grant program would allow state securities and insurance regulators to apply for a grant to help us combat fraud in the senior space. And it would allow us to get more resources, have more attorneys, have more investigators, and have more people who can do investor and senior outreach to try and help protect seniors and prevent fraud.
Are there investigations that you might want to pursue now that you're not able to simply for lack of resources?
We always have cases that we can continue to pursue and pursue more in depth that we can't because of lack of resources.
Yeah, just to my colleagues, what the bill does is provide a grant program, $10 million a year, I believe, to the SEC for states to develop programs and use their resources to crack down on fraud against seniors. And this would apply to fraud in the crypto space, would it not?
It would apply to any kind of fraud involving seniors. There's a NASA Model Act to protect seniors and vulnerable adults, and financial professionals who believe that there's been exploitation have a legal obligation to report to us and to Adult Protective Services the fact that there might have been or they believe there was exploitation, and this kind of grant money would help us resource those activities for us to investigate and prosecute those cases.
I appreciate that. I hope we'll get that over the finish line here in this committee. We've had a number of hearings on the risks of different crypto assets, but I'd like to ask you both about what authorities exist, if any, with respect to deceptive advertising. Senator Warren mentioned a couple of examples. It's hard enough for people to assess the risks of crypto without deceptive advertising. And obviously, some folks in the crypto space provide information and disclosures, but many do not. So where there are cases of deceptive marketing, Ms. Walsh, do you at FINRA have, what kind of authorities, if any, or what kind of practices do you have in place to try and track and expose and hold people accountable for deceptive advertising?
I appreciate that question, Senator, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about what FINRA does in this space because we do take deception very seriously. In addition to ongoing risk monitoring activities of our firms and examinations of the firms on a regular cycle, FINRA does review advertising materials that are used in the sale of investment products. And so we do have an advertising review team that takes actions when we see issues. Certainly, to the extent that crypto is happening within the broker-dealer space, one of the things that we look at are the advertisements themselves, whether those are being filed with FINRA, and also the nature of the communications with the public that are being made, because under FINRA rules, those have to be fair and full and not misleading.
And have you taken any action to date against anybody for deceptive advertising in the crypto space?
I will have to defer to you. I will have to defer to my colleagues at FINRA. As I sit here today, I am not aware.
Okay. Ms. Lubin, as a state regulator, what kind of legal powers do you have to go after deceptive advertising?
Thank you, Senator. I and my colleagues, across the board, most of our statutes are based on the Uniform Securities Act, are very similar to federal law, and we have anti-fraud authority that applies to any person. So any person in connection with the offer or sale of securities who commits a fraudulent act or makes material misrepresentation or omissions falls within our jurisdiction. So if someone is advertising and in a misleading way or has material omissions, those are offers of securities, and we would have jurisdiction to take action against those advertisers.
Well, I appreciate that. I think one of the concerns is that some advertisements suggest that, for example, investors in crypto have the kind of coverage you do through the FDIC for your deposits, which we all know here is not true. But I hope both of you will be on the full lookout, obviously for deceptive advertising across the board in your areas. But because there's such confusion in this particular space of crypto, I think it's especially ripe for deceptive advertising. We need to be on the lookout for it. And again, thank you, Ms. Lubin, for your help on that bill, and I'm confident the chairman and the ranking member will help get it passed out of the committee. Thank you.
We hear you. Thank you, Senator Van Hollen. Senator